possibility. I don't know. Maybe they'll take.
I don't think that Graves was like an unstoppable issue that they have to deal with.
Yeah.
Like all the fights, they're able to burst him down. I was kind of thinking that MYM would hold on to that, or would hold on to that Zyra, considering that H2k gave up that first pick.
Yeah.
MYM can maybe grab that, but I think maybe they're concerned that if they grab the Zyra, then H2k can pick up 2 strong champions in their first and second pick, which is always kind of the issue there.
Yeah, and I don't think Zyra did all that well. I guess she was really the only
she was
problem.
the only problem, and like she was almost able to single-handedly win them fights, despite the fact that MYM was so far ahead. Like every single team fight, they would be like, "Yeah, we're winning the fight," and then Zyra would just do all of her damage. They'd be like, "What the hell? We're 15k gold ahead. Why is Zyra beating us? This isn't fair." But yeah, we'll see where they go. Renekton first pick. Go for it.
Okay. I really like Renekton. I mean, again, it's one of those champions that can snowball really, really hard, like in the mid game, and I hate playing against Renekton.
Renekton is so strong in the top lane. I think he's really underestimated and has been for a long time. People don't play him a lot because he does kind of fall off as the game progresses. But his early game is just phenomenal. Like he can beat almost anyone in lane.
You're kind of the Office Renekton fanboy.
All right, I didn't really think that, but
no,
okay.
I think so. I think every time like Renekton is mentioned, you're like, well, I think Renekton is actually
I feel like that happens
extremely
for, like,
underrated.
Oh yeah, right.
yeah, that's like everybody. I think Heimerdinger is extremely underrated.
Heimerdinger is a pretty underrated fella.
Yeah.
Gragas, I think, is incredible. He's extremely underrated. We're starting to see Gragas more though, so I'm really happy about that.
True.
But we'll see what happens with Renekton. Yeah, grabbing Lee Sin and Corki, so still want those picks. They did an okay job in the last game, falling behind kind of early, but we'll see where they can pull it off now.
Yeah, so they're saying that they don't mind if MYM has Graves again.
Yeah.
Is what they're saying here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see with the success of Graves. Oh, Mordekaiser, that'd be an awesome pick. I really like watching Mordekaiser and Blitzcrank. So Blitzcrank's going to allow them to be really aggressive. And we'll see where they end up on the mid champion. But yeah, I really like Blitzcrank. Really fun to watch. Ooh, and going with the Karthus pick. So, I mean, Ahri is banned, of course, so the really hard counter to Karthus isn't available. So Karthus in this situation, not a bad pick in my opinion.
Yeah, and they banned out Karthus last time, but not banning this time. So we'll see where that goes. I was going to say, if they were going with the Mordekaiser, it would be like they're going for this, just unstoppable bruiser team. They don't have good initiation, but the idea is that you can't fight them. If you walk into them, you're going to die. And that's kind of a similar thing with Karthus here, with the Karthus wall and also with Renekton. If you try and engage on MYM's team, they're going to kill you. But we'll see where they go with that. One issue is that they could be kited kind of easily. So H2k, as a result, they want a long-range team where they can focus them down a little bit. Aurelia is a fine pick, though, because Aurelia works very well against Karthus. You can engage into that backline, kill Karthus down, and hopefully get out of there. But the big thing is you split your team up. So when Aurelia engages, Aurelia can dive onto Karthus in fights, and then the rest of the team can sit back. And now MYM, the focus, instead of being on the AD carry, it's on the Aurelia. So a lot of that can come down to how she does in the top lane and grabbing the Morgana. So actually turning it into a heavy engaged team with Morgana and Aurelia, we'll be looking to just pounce on MYM.
Yeah, but on the other side of that, we'll see kind of like a pretty boring early game out of the mid because they're both just like heavy farmers. They're going to sit back and just kind of poke at each other and just farm well. And then we won't see any real action until maybe we get out of the laning phase and the team fight phase. But yeah, strong initiation on Morgana. I really like invading at level 1 with Morgana because of that bind. It gives you a good opportunity to do a lot of quick damage. And so I think she has a lot of potential. But yeah, again, she's just against Karthus, they're both going to be sitting back just farming, hanging out, having a good time. And and then there's Graves. So yep, I mean we could have almost counted on that probably because of how successful Graves was last game. And H2k was like, yeah, you can have him. We don't want him. We'll take Corki again, and we'll try to run this
Sona.
over.
So I'm gonna guess that it's a Sona here. That's my pick. But Graves, definitely a really strong pick. One nice thing about the Morgana though that I'd like to go back to, early on in last game, Udyr was able to counter jungle Lee Sin some. They were able to get some early kills.
Yeah.
But Morgana, while she's very defensive in nature in mid lane, she does provide a lot of great control for your jungler just because of how strong she can be in early fights.
Yeah.
So that kind of control coming from the mid lane, it should protect them against any early invasion. And Rammus, not really known to be the strongest counter jungler. I have seen some counter jungling Rammuses in the past, but it's very unusual. And it's been a while since we've seen a Rammus. But,
yeah, I haven't seen Rammus in a fair amount of time.
Oh, Taric. So Taric, definitely works for them. He is kind of I don't know, a bland kind of support. Like he's just all around strong and not really that spectacular. But he does give them a nice little kill lane advantage if they can pick off Graves with the stun. But that's why Graves will likely run that cleanse.
Yeah, I guess my only concern with that is Taric is such a, in a lot of ways, a close range champion, wants to do a stun and get in and do some damage with that W. But Blitzcrank, when Blitzcrank could see an opportunity, going in for the stun and just grab you. And, Corki can do a lot of damage Graves can do a lot of damage and then get out after that Blitzcrank pull with that E. So it's going to be a little scary for Taric because you have to play really, really safe to be able to make sure that he doesn't get, that pulled. But hopefully he can get some good stuns off, and with Corki, be able to poke him down and be pretty successful in that bottom lane.
Yeah, and I think team fights could be really dangerous for H2k versus MYM's team because, again, having a kind of short-range team, they're going to be walking into all of Karthus' damage if Karthus can, get deep into his build. But then they also have Renekton and Blitzcrank and Rammus all to pull off aggression from Graves and Karthus, and them being able to pull away from their from their carries is definitely huge. So they should be pretty safe in fights. That's going to make MYM very difficult to deal with. H2k, on the other hand, they have some nice pick-off synergy. They can, burst people down. They can have some AoEs, but it's going to be kind of dangerous to just full-on 5-on-5 fight. But I think H2k, in their mind, they want to just get off early advantages. They don't want to fall behind early, so they have some safe lane matchups. Taric is a very safe all-around lane. Aurelia is a pretty strong lane, and so they're hoping if they don't fall behind, they can see what they can do, coming into the mid-game. So we'll see what goes on with there. Renekton versus Aurelia is a really even matchup. Renekton actually has a little bit of an early advantage. Can zone Aurelia off a little bit off of the minion wave, but then Aurelia has great follow-up for the gank. So we'll see what happens. A lot of it's going to come down to the junglers, and Rammus just a little bit more aggressive with his ganks.
Yeah, and Renekton, not the easiest person to gank in the whole world with that dash. So although he doesn't, he does pretty good with, the help of a ganker, but he can get out too, so he's pretty safe. Rammus, we don't really see Rammus all that much, and he really fell out of favor. I know there was a period of time a few months ago where he was really highly played in like solo queue and things like that. Yeah. So like, what happened to Rammus? Why did he fall off so hard?
Well, he was a first pick every game because he was just so unstoppable, and he's still very strong. He just fell off because of other junglers coming into play. And one of the big issues with Rammus has always been how he struggles in the jungle after his first clear. That's not as much of an issue, as it used to be, but his first clear is very fast because of his movement speed, and he can AoE clear. After that, he struggles killing buffs. Like, he just sits there and he attacks them forever. They never go down.
Yeah.
So that's kind of an issue. Then it's just, whether or not you can powerball in fights. He just becomes kind of a tanky body up front. But people forget how strong his taunt is in particular, and his initiation with the Powerball. So he has great initiation. It's almost impossible to ward against Rammus because of his range initiation. And his taunt, it's a 3-second taunt.
Yeah.
So that's a really, really long duration. Like that, if he gets a taunt off onto anyone, that can just shut people down later in the game. So that's going to be very dangerous. I think people were just more happy with control junglers, and that's where he kind of fell off, as people were playing junglers like Shyvana and Mundo and whatnot, who are very tanky early in the game and have a strong jungling speed so that they can keep up gold advantage. And then if Rammus ever ganks, you just counter gank him, and that's the big thing with Rammus is you expect him to gank, you keep an eye on him, and then you're like, oh, he's up top, real quick, run, and you run and you go top. But we'll see where he goes.
I disagree.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
All right then.
I think he's really strong. I mean, with you can get 2, even 3 gold per 10 items on him, and he can definitely stay rather like in the game with his gold amount. So I don't think he's all that bad. Yeah, he has a slow clear, and he can get counter jungled pretty easy, but I think he has so much to offer in terms of ganks that he can really help to snowball lanes really, really well. And, and again, that taunt is just ridiculous. And then, of course, once you turn to attack him, he's going to be doing all that damage back to you through those attacks. So I really like Rammus, and I'm actually a bit surprised he doesn't get played more. But I think, did they nerf him somewhere along the way?
A little bit. They did nerf him a little bit. I don't remember exactly what it was. It was so long ago. But I don't know. I feel like people, for a while, they thought he was unnerfable just because of how strong he was. Like, even if you nerf him, he was still going to be ridiculous just because of the fact that he can, engage ganks so easily.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to kind of take a look back at what some of the nerfs were to remember why he fell out of favor. I think part of it has to do with, where he fits in team fights. Against a defensive, kiting team, you kind of just snare him and then walk away, and then Rammus is like, well, I guess I'm done. So we'll see how that works for him. But his ganks are just unbelievably powerful. Like he's really. He, for a long time, was the strongest ganker in the game, and he still probably is the strongest ganker in the game. Alistar and Maokai, they have a little bit stronger ganks in the first couple of levels, or at least for kill potential. But his mobility, just being able to run back and forth across the map, is just phenomenal. And one of the interesting things with Rammus, if you don't succeed on a gank, he's one of the few junglers, so you can just sit there and gank a lane repeatedly. So you fail the gank, maybe, they force a flash, so it's not a fail, and you just keep on, you run into the river, and they're like, oh, God, phew, thank goodness Rammus isn't there, and then you're like, ha, I'm back! And you just keep on running at them, keep on powerballing at them, and it's really difficult to, survive Rammus's early ganks.
Oh, the old surprise Rammus, eh?
Oh, that's a
the old surprise Rammus. I'm actually surprised that MYM isn't invading because I don't know. I'm under the thought that Blitzcrank allows you to do like a really strong level 1 invade, and I guess with the with the bind from Morgana you have to be a little careful, but that grab allows you to get into some really interesting positions and take advantage of teams that are out of position. So. It looks like they're going to come up here and maybe see what they can do. Oh, man, that is scary for Karthus right there.
He just has to believe. Just don't hold your breath. Hold your breath, and they won't see you. The big thing is that even though Blitzcrank's very strong, Blitzcrank could get a pull over the wall, though. Let's see if he can get in range. Oh, gosh, if he gets the pull, someone, no.
Come on.
Oh, Libic, I needed it. I needed it bad.
Oh,
yeah, so they'll have to back off. H2k, though, they actually do have a stronger level 1, despite the Blitzcrank. The damage from Karthus is really nice, but Corki, he has the vision, he has the burst where he can, win those early fights. Tarek has the follow-up stun. Rammus, on the other hand, if he has to get his taunt, that's going to slow down his jungle a lot. So he doesn't really contribute a lot to level 1. He could get Powerball and do that. It still slows him down a little bit. Renekton, he's not very strong level 1, particularly if he's going regen. So he already had his Q. I'm not sure whether or not he had that in the beginning of the fight. But if you start off with that, then your level 1 is just, it's not very strong. So, I think they were comfortable with sitting back. They want to make sure, because Rammus is already going to win the early game, they want to make sure that Rammus just gets off to a good jungle. And they don't want to risk any early fights or anything. So, we'll see how they do with that. But Rammus, starting off with blue, he could transition to top 4 level 2 gank. Just the Powerball, and he won't have the taunt, but the Powerball itself, will sometimes be enough. But we'll see. He might just continue on the bottom, and then hook up with Blitzcrank a little bit. Once he has that taunt, once he has level 3.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of synergy there between those two. I mean, the taunt into the grab or vice versa could set up a lot of really strong ganks, and it's going to act as a really strong initiate as well if we get to that point where people are out of place and get grabbed and forcing those fights really quickly, and really just taking out one of the carries.
God, right there.
Why
isn't if he had just pulled?
I wanted it so bad.
It's
hard carrying around those big heavy boxing gloves. It's not easy. Okay.
Being green.
What?
I don't know. Yeah, so Rammus is going to back off. Blitzcrank and Graves will go bottom. They're going to have a slight advantage because Corki, he was kind of low. He had to recall there, so he's a little bit behind. Blitzcrank, actually, it looks like he's set up to steal this blue. So Lee Sin starting off on the top side. They did see that they kind of retreated over that way. So we'll see whether or not he grabs it. It's going to be kind of difficult, but if they can take it, then it's definitely going to be worth the squeeze. I think the big thing is that Blitzcrank, he's going to get very low if they go for it. And that's going to leave Graves kind of vulnerable because Blitzcrank might have to go back and heal. And then they're going to have to deal with the fact that Corki and Tarek have this aggressive kill lane. So Graves could be kind of vulnerable for a second there. However, if Graves is able to get that blue or, Blitzcrank, either of them, that spam ability could easily win them that lane and then also shut down Lee Sin a little bit. But we'll see whether or not Tarek sees it on his way down. He'll probably pass through that bush and just check on that blue for a second.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, also, it's going to take him a long time to take that blue down. So along with the damage, it's going to put him out of position for, a good amount of time. And, if they go into the lane late, it could mean, issues for them. So we'll have to see. I do really like that strategy of pulling the blue through the wall there and trying to engage it pretty quick. But, with the power of Tarek, and hopefully if they have vision, they can put a stop to that pretty quick. It's just a scary situation for Graves and Blitz at this point. It's a big risk, and I like it. I like risks. They're fun. Plus, the board game is fun.
Oh, the board game,
is pretty good.
But here we go, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're back into the game, and we'll get to see what they're doing. Actually, it looks like he's going to go for it. Yes, gets the pull. Now, the key is if Tarek sees them or not, because they can hold this here pretty easily. Blitzcrank will get pretty low, and he does see it. He sees the minions running around, so he knows they're on the other side. I don't know if he's going to have enough time to do anything about it. Morgana starting to come down, but won't actually go for it. So who's going to get it?
Oh.
Graves. And so Blitzcrank, again, is kind of low. However, Graves, with that spam ability, he can easily control lanes. He can either push into the tower or play defensively and farm from a distance. So that's going to be really nice for them. And Blitzcrank, you know, we'll see. Once he hits levels 2, they are very close to level 2. Like, they have a massive experience advantage over Corki and Tarek, so they could maybe just wait and then get the regen from that level up to be okay.
Yeah, I wonder with that blue if they're going to continue the trend of last game where they just push really, really hard over and over again. I mean, it's going to give them the potential to do that. Oh, and they're just getting chipped down slowly but surely. I mean, if they continue to trade like that, Tarek is going to be able to, you know, make a significant impact with the heal and with the stun. So it's going to be scary for Graves. And oh, nice dodge from Corki, and just Corki getting some free damage there. So, but yeah, just continuing to push pretty hard here, and that's, I mean, the blue buff is going to allow them to just kind of do whatever they want and play their own game.
Wow, and Karthus starting off, he pushed up a little bit. He was kind of concerned about the fast Lee Sin gank, since part of the issue with them stealing the blue is Lee Sin didn't really have anywhere to go. Like, he would go over to blue, be like, oh, well, I'm not going to waste my time here, which means that there's going to be really early ganks. So we see Lee Sin pressuring the mid. Karthus had already gone back and comes back with 3 wards. So just wants to sit and farm forever. And having the 3 wards, it basically means he's not planning on leaving. 3 health pots, 2 mana potions. He's just planning on sitting there in lane for the next 10 minutes or so and just constantly farming, so he doesn't want to ever have to go back to base.
Yeah, I mean, and he can do that because of course that global ultimate. He has global presence without having to leave lane, and that's why one of the reasons why he's so dang strong is because he can strongly influence fights that he's not even present in. Meanwhile, Lee Sin's going to come up and he's going to shield, and Renekton's going to get out of there with the dash and then the flash, and so that's, I mean, Renekton's pretty good at getting away from ganks, so, you know, of course, burn that flash, so he's going to have to be really careful for the next few minutes.
Yeah, so just able to get out of there, but still, you know, nice pressure from Lee Sin. And we'll see, you know, whether or not Aurelia can win that lane. Renekton has an early advantage, was pushing Aurelia into the tower some, but we've already seen Graves being really aggressive there, and Lee Sin up top once again. Renekton, he will have that dash, but with the follow-up, the slow from Aurelia actually getting the stun, and then the follow-up from Lee Sin, they're getting a lot of damage. They could actually tank this. The stun underneath the turret, the ignite as well, and Kuban is very low. The tick, it does get him. So nice. Aurelia picks up the first blood, and that is huge for H2k in order to come back in this series, to be able to take early advantages, particularly in the top lane when they lost it so hard last game. Yeah, it was actually really good for, meanwhile Rammus is coming in, getting that off on Aurelia, trying to get the taunt. He missed. Did he taunt the minion? He taunted the cannon minion. He had the kill, I think. He had the double for the red buff. I think you're right. That's really unfortunate. But that last gank was, that sucked. Okay, but Lee Sin, you know, he was behind because of, you know, not having that blue. And so he's behind on experience, behind on gold. So, and he's been spending a lot of time in lane trying to counteract that loss. So it was really important that he got that gank to help out, to balance it out. So if not, he would have been sitting in lane for a long time with no reward. So good on Lee Sin for getting that. Yeah, so we'll see what continues on in all these lanes. The snare from Morgana just barely not hitting, and Karthus will just continue to farm in that mid lane. In the meantime, Tarek chasing him out a little bit. The blue is down for Graves, so he has done a really nice job of pushing Corki underneath this tower, has some early advantages there, and actually does spot Lee Sin walking down through the river from his ward, so he wants to play defensively here. Lee Sin trying to come in and steal that, but won't get it. The wall from Karthus, one more Q, and Lee Sin actually has to flash out of there, so nice job. Trying to pressure Karthus a little bit, not quite able to work out. Yeah, that was a little bit risky, and I think, I'm not really sure, maybe he was just going to go see if he could steal some Wraiths and do a little counter jungling, and then met his worst enemy, Karthus. But yeah, Karthus getting a good wall and forcing that flash, so just another little part that's going to bring Lee Sin out of, you know, a little bit farther behind. And the big thing is that Karthus, he can be at his most vulnerable when he's trying to get those Wraiths. So he does ward around the river because he wants to avoid that. The double dash from Kuban, not quite able to get in on Aurelia, and actually a ward really deep into the river, and that's really nice. You can't have the shallow wards up in the tri-bush or up in the regular bush because Rammus, he's just too fast. He can engage from such a long distance, but Lee Sin is very low. They did see him pass there, and Rammus actually transitioning into the mid lane, will powerball right into Morgana. Morgana has the shield, will pop it, and will be okay to back out of there. Really difficult lane to gank. Yeah, really hard.
that's one of the cool things about Morgana. She can sit, farm, and be really safe with that shield, and that's probably, I mean, that's why she's been just such a used champion over the months. She never fell out of favor, and it's because she's just like a really safe choice because of that shield. So you know, forcing Rammus, just going in, forcing some mana use, and then just getting out and holding the lane for Karthus.
Yeah, and Renekton in the meantime doing a nice job in this top lane despite the early advantage for Aurelia. But we'll see, you know, how that continues. A 20 CS advantage for Renekton, even with that kill onto Aurelia. It is even in gold as a result of that kill. If you see, you know, Aurelia is actually slightly ahead still, but you know, getting that farm advantage is definitely huge. So we'll see how he can keep into that lane. And now in bottom lane, Graves and Blitzcrank, once they hit level 6, I mean, they could really amp up their aggression. So we'll see Blitzcrank actually running up into Corki, gets off the knockup, and actually after the Valkyrie, you have an easy pull with the timing, but he gets right behind Tarek, and so really nice job from Corki holding on to the Valkyrie, because if you just throw off the Valkyrie against a Blitzcrank, Blitzcrank's going to get the pull at the end of it just because you don't have any options of where you go. But waiting until Tarek was up there, able to dodge behind the Tarek for the protection.
Yeah, I really like Corki as a bot lane because of how safe he is, and we're seeing like a really strong, like common choice of picking these like safer bot lane champions like Ezreal, like Corki, and even Graves to a certain extent too because of that dash. It's a little bit easier to get away from ganks. Ooh, meanwhile Aurelia's doing some damage, but here comes Rammus. I hope he goes in. Nope, he's just sitting back. So Renekton's just going to get out, but not before taking just a ton of damage. And Lee Sin might be coming up to try to make something happen here. Yeah,
and I think Aurelia was a little bit scared there for a second. Even though Renekton was very low, she will go for the tower dive, but the turnaround from Renekton, the power ball into the taunt, the Karthus ultimate as well, will go down very quickly. And the big thing is you can bait fights very easily with Renekton because you have the ultimate to turn her around, and Aurelia was kind of watching that. She's like, all right, you're very low. You're at 200 HP. You haven't popped your ultimate yet, and yet you're still attacking me. What is the reason for that? It's probably that you have a teammate around there. The Powerball trying to come in, but Lee Sin is safe on the other side of those minions, so he will be able to back out of there. So Aurelia at first not going in. Then after a second, she was like, all right, well, Lee Sin's up here. I guess I'll be okay. Oh, no, I wasn't. So really nice job from Meet Your Makers.
Yeah, Blitzcrank activating that W and going in, seeing if he can do some damage. He blows that ultimate, knocks up, and see if he can get a grab here. Oh, it grabs Corki, and Corki's going to take some damage, but I think he's going to be okay. So just good aggression from Graves and Blitzcrank just to be able to chip him down. Not the best use of ult, I think, off of Blitzcrank, but yeah, able to do some damage and continue the aggressive play that they've been doing this game and last game.
Well, by using the ultimate early, though, the silence, it allows them to get the free damage. So they don't have to worry about Tarek and Corki turning it around on them. It doesn't pick them up the kill, but the hook into the buckshot will, and actually Corki barely able to get out of there, but they can chase down Tarek with that exhaust. One more attack from Graves. He goes off the cleanse, is able to pick it up. And the big thing is the Blitzcrank silence earlier, it allowed them to get free damage and then back off. They weren't necessarily going for kills. They just wanted to put themselves in a position of strength. Morgana looking for the kills, though, might get behind this wall. If she throws off the bind, she does it. Blitzcrank, the flash actually able to back out of there, but the ignite, he will go down, trying to get some damage onto Morgana as well, but she has the ultimate to turn this around. Graves with the flash out. The flash taunt from Rammus will pick this up, and now the slow from Karthus grabbing the second kill. Actually, Rammus picking it up, so really nice job there. And they might actually be able to pressure Dragon off this because Rammus starting off with the Wriggles, and then Karthus has great Dragon presence, but they're actually not going to go for it. So a little bit concerned with how low Graves is, will back off.
Yeah, really good teamwork there and good read by Karthus knowing when to come down and when they're going to need some help. And the Karthus ult is going to be up again in maybe like 30 seconds or so, so he's going to be able to stay back in lane. But that's the thing, his ultimate was blown when he got stunned up by Tarek and Lee Sin. See if he can do some damage here. Oh, they're just playing safe because Karthus is just such a beast right now. He's doing so much damage. They have to be careful. That individual damage on that Q, on that lay waste, is just so much in the early levels of the game.
Yeah, so they will back off, but the turret is one hit away, so they'll be able to take that down in a second. But one interesting thing with the Rammus build, which is, we were talking about how one of the issues with Rammus is how he's a little bit slower in the jungle later on. He doesn't provide much at all control for Dragon and Baron, but he's really slow taking buffs, which is always an issue, which is why you started to see people use the Wriggles build on Rammus a long time ago and build him actually like an anti-carry rather than playing him as a support jungler and building him tanky. And one of the benefits there is You greatly increase your jungling speed. You get a little bit more damage in the fights. But, you know, it kind of fell off. In the meantime, Rammus coming back up into this top lane will be able to take this turret. Does get off the first damage. So there's the taunt as well. Aurelia going down very quickly. So the Rammus Wriggles build, it kind of fell off for a second. They do have to watch out for Lee Sin and Morgana coming up top, though. Lee Sin will be able to Q in, gets the quick kill. Renekton all alone here and will be chased out as Morgana tries to engage on him.
But Karthus is closing in pretty quick here, too. So we'll see if Karthus... Oh, meanwhile, Renekton turns around on Lee Sin and just does tons of damage. We'll see if Karthus can get in here and do some damage, too. The Karthus ult is going off right there. It is.
He has the shield.
Nice.
Oh, just barely getting
it.
it.
That was really good use. So, in some damage. Oh, meanwhile, bottom lane's continuing to play really aggressive. Oh, and the ultimate from Graves. Just tracing the back of him. Just barely doing anything. So, but yeah, did tons of damage. Caught him just in the tail. And, yeah, was able to take him down and the turret. So, oh, meanwhile...
Yeah, Morgana with the ultimate on Karthus, he will get pretty low. And Morgana actually flashing, getting out of there, wants to make sure that there's no follow-up. The bind not hitting. That could have been a kill, but we'll back off. So the Rammus Wriggles build, it was before the jungling changes for the most part. When the jungle was changed, it's actually been a long time now. You just, even if you could kill the buffs, it just didn't seem worth it because you weren't, you know, getting any jungling speed against like the race and stuff like that. And so getting that early Wriggles, it was nerfed a number of times. It meant that your early game was kind of weak. You weren't quite as tanky as you would like to be. And so that's still the issue. Rammus, he's not very tanky at this point. He doesn't need any boots or anything because he has the initiation with his Powerball. But the early fights, he's going to be a little bit squishier than Rammus normally would, even if he has that jungling speed. So we'll see if they can pressure that. Aurelia going for the blue, though, forces Zaru to flash out of there and will be able to pick this up. Lee Sin here as well, but Graves and Blitzcrank, after taking the bottom turret, they've transitioned into the top lane, so it is still a 2v2.
Yeah, meanwhile, they're going to come in here and try to help out with the blue getting taken, but it's a little bit late. You know, Aurelia dives onto Blitzcrank. He's going to try to get out of there, but still doing some damage. Morgana's going to come around, see if she can hit a bind and make something happen here. Oh, misses the bind, so that's going to hurt. Blitzcrank just staying in, and Graves doing what Graves does, laying down the damage, and they're diving hard. Karthus goes down really quick at that low life. Oh my gosh, and here comes Rammus getting that taunt off. Morgana's in real trouble.
Yeah, and Aurelia just barely trying to get out of the ward over the wall, so Libic is waiting. Once that cooldown is up, he's going to get the or just waiting. No! Did the ward not see it? How did the ward not get vision?
Oh, what just happened?
I guess I'll take a look at that in a second. So rewind real quick. And Aurelia's right there. Aurelia was stuck. Look, the ward doesn't see Aurelia. She's in a little bit of a nook and cranny there.
What
and Blitzcrank doesn't
heck?
see her. That is absurd. So he just barely doesn't see her. And so as a
What
result,
the
she's
heck?
able to get out of there.
He's like, I got to go around and check
like,
out what's going
what's going on.
Yeah.
That's wild. The ward is like in the wall. That's insane.
I just thought it was the biggest screw up of all time. But
yeah, he was like looking at her, and he's like, achoo, he sneezed or something. In the meantime, Mokata chasing down Koggle here will have plenty of damage, but the kick away from Lee Sin at the perfect time, so he can't get off that taunt.
Yeah, I mean, you might have been able to get some help from Corki, but I don't know. He might have died in the process. So good kick just to play safe. Oh, and here comes Rammus on Taric, and Taric is taunted now. And here comes Lee Sin. Maybe, no, they're going to back out. They don't want to mess with that guy. He's too scary.
Yeah, but Graves able to get that tower low enough. It does go down. And so a nice gold advantage. 4K, not quite as much as last time. The hook into the pop-up. Taric is getting kind of low, and they will have to back off.
Yeah, I would actually be a little bit scared because Taric can actually do some damage. And so, yeah, that's a little scary. But Blitzcrank going to pursue. Got that ultimate off of Morgana. Morgana is stunned and goes down really fast. So Morgana getting caught out, and Blitzcrank, the utility there was really good. Karthus getting chased. But, yeah, they're MYM, again, really good position here. They 4K gold lead. So they're able to just push an advantage and do pretty well. So, and the game is, what, catching up? That was going,
I was trying to get to catch up, but it kind of froze on me, so they're able to pick up the kill. But if you look at the items, Aurelia, despite Aurelia's strength in lane, she's a little bit behind. So Renekton doing a nice job in that top lane, was able to take control of that. We'll get it caught up in a second, hopefully. But they're able to push down the mid turret. The wall from Karthus stalls them off, so they can't get back. The hook isn't going to hit, but Kuban gets in some quick damage. The burst from Graves, not quite enough. Can't quite hit that buckshot. The ult, was on cooldown, so they weren't able to finish that off. But the flash in from Rammus, the power ball into the taunt, and there's plenty of damage. Rammus is close to going down, but he's fine with making that sacrifice. Aurelia does go down, though, and Rammus is alive. Lee Sin in the middle of the team. Libic chasing him down. Will have to back off in the Karthus ultimate. Will it pick up the Taric? Yes!
Oh, that's a lot of damage. Yeah, that was level 11 Karthus right there. So just getting that second level on his ultimate, giving them a little bit more damage, able to make that kill happen. So and there again, Graves, Lee Sin is trying to do something, but just gets tore up by Graves. Good dodge there as we fast forward. It's really hard to dodge that when you're going 2x speed, I've noticed.
Oh, yeah, that makes it twice as difficult.
Twice as hard to dodge, let me tell you.
Yeah, so they're able to back off. Really nice play. Lee Sin coming up in the top lane. Karthus is stuck here, but the damage from Lee Sin, the kick into the wall, he has to back off, and there's no Karthus ultimate to follow up. So really nice job from him. That play was twice as impressive, too, I like to say. But, oh, Corki coming down to the bottom lane, and it's kind of messed up. So, we'll rewind again. And yeah, so he's going to try and pick up Blitzcrank in this bottom lane. Oh, and now we get to check out this Lee Sin again with the Q.
Good
Won't
dodge.
be able to hit it. But yeah, dodging some of his minions, has the Hex Drinker, and then just disabling Karthus for a second, is able to grab that and then the flash out at the last second.
Yeah, really good. Lee Sin's pretty good champion, I would say. And with that Hex Drinker, really good, being able to just take some damage and get in there. Karthus is one of those champions it's really risky to go head-to-head with. Oh, Corki, is he going to be able to get Blitzcrank? Oh, let's see if he can get the long range. Oh, I don't know. And here comes Rammus, and this is where it gets a little bit crazy for him, and that's unfortunate. That's the power of Rammus, just lock you under the turret, and you're not going anywhere, and you're going to take a bunch of tower shots. So a little bit too aggressive out of Corki, and it's going to cost him.
Yeah, Libic with a nice job throwing off the exhaust, able to back out of there with the flash as well, just barely surviving. Graves pushing up the mid lane will be able to back off as well, while Aurelia is split pushing top. And so the big thing for H2k right now is just continuing to farm, you know, get Aurelia tanky enough where she needs to be able to just dive into the middle of the team. Lee Sin, though, he has an opportunity for Graves if they can chase him down. The slow, and then Morgana wants to make sure she hits the snare, throwing off the ultimate, will get off the stun. The flash from Graves, just barely able to clear the distance. In the meantime, Corki is stuck in the middle of the team. Blitzcrank with the hook on the turret as well. So a couple of kills for them. Lee Sin trying to engage on Graves still, is able to pick up that kill and then back off, but still a slight advantage to MYM.
Yeah, really good team fight. They got a little scared there. I think they saw the team fight that was happening over on the right near the blue. And they're going to be able to just get this dragon. MYM just continuing to push the lead, and that's, of course, what you do. You when you're ahead, you get more ahead, right? It's the old StarCraft reference. Yep. And by doing that, you do that by taking objectives, by farming well, and just by forcing your opponent to not farm well and not take objectives. So you...
Oh, my God. All right.
So the game's a little bit funky right now.
Space again.
You know, I blame you.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and blame me. But, so yeah, so some really nice advantages. 7K ahead for MYM right now. They're able to continue to pressure H2k, and I don't know. We'll see where they go with this. The issue is that, you know, Renekton, he's very strong right now, but he will start to fall. Though the big thing is Kuban, he went with that high damage build. So going that glass cannon build on Renekton, as opposed to the more standard thing, and you know, that is going to definitely allow him to scale a little bit better. He's going to have the damage to continue winning these fights. Aurelia, in the meantime, turning around, trying to actually force this fight. They have a 5v3, and Aurelia getting in onto Zaru will get off the slow. She does have the phage, but can't quite hit the procs, and Zaru just barely out of range. One more Blade Surge will get her in range, though, and we'll see if they can get, chase her down. The Equilibrium Strike. Graves is here to dissuade them, though, so they will back off. Aurelia, Karthus getting pretty low, but they can't quite force the fight like they would like to.
Graves get a scary force point blank, and he's just going to go and try to do some damage. Oh, and meanwhile, Aurelia's going in. Oh, and the ultimate from Blitzcrank and didn't get the grab off. But yeah, got that Oracles on Blitzcrank, so that's going to be really helpful. But they're just going to push this mid lane, and H2k is, you know, they're behind, but, you know, they have a strong team fight situation, and they can catch people out with that Morgana bind and with the ultimate as well.
Oh, and the bind from Morgana, but the pull back onto Aurelia. She's very low. Makade trying to get in there still, and Renekton chasing into the middle of the enemy team. The Karthus ultimate as well. MYM is cleaning up this fight. They have the double kill. Graves, you know, getting one as well. Lee Sin will be chased down from behind by Rammus. He's going to be able to pick this up. Lee Sin wants to try and get a Q over to the minions if he can get enough time, but just doesn't quite have enough. Throws off the kick, though. There's the surrender. H2k recognizing that they're going down. MYM picks up game number 2 and will take this series.
2-0 for MYM, looking strong. And you know, H2k, they did well. I thought they just a little bit too strong of a snowball in that top lane both games, I think. Yeah. And Renekton was a good pick, and I mean, we mentioned it before. Like, where Renekton, give them a little bit of advantage. I think that's kind of true for a lot of those top lane champions. Give them a little bit of advantage, and they can run away with the game. And Renekton is such a force in that. He had the level advantage, he had the farm advantage, and he went glass cannon. So, you don't have to really build tanky when you have, more HP than your opponent based on level. And so you're just going to be doing, a lot better, and you're going to be able to get in there and just do all that damage. Be the Renekton that you want to be.
Be the Renekton that your man thinks your Renekton could be. I don't know.
That's disgusting.
Okay. Graves again with the advantage over Corki. 0-6. Graves is really starting to get deep into his build. And just those early kills, are devastating, particularly in a low farm game. So, not really the highest CS totals, but, that just makes kills that much more significant. So, really nice job from MYM. We'll see, how they can continue. This is the Challenger tournament to get into the elites, and we'll see how MYM continues to do in our bracket.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think actually, if you look below, you can see with the links to, not you, the viewers, but you can see the links to the bracket. So, there's only a few teams that signed up for the EU tournament for the challengers. So that's unfortunate, but maybe next time around there'll be more teams. But I think actually MYM's going to go back into the elites based off this because they were the highest seed. So good on them. They're going to be back. And, they showed a really good, they had a good showing today, and they played well. And they're really good at pushing their lead, and they knew how to do that. So, congrats to MYM for getting back into elites.
Yeah, guys, and if you have a team you want to sign up, go ahead and do that on our website, ign.com/IPL. You get to chat with Nick Allen here. That's the best way to talk to him.
You get to add me on Skype.
Yeah. So you get to add him on Skype. So even if you're bad, you just, create a team and be like, hey, Nick, I want to chat. And he'll be like, all right, I got to waste my time
Time
with you.
for sexy talk.
Oh, okay then.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, definitely. Thanks, guys. That'll be it. We'll throw up a rebroadcast for you. And, thanks for watching IPL Elites and IPL Challenger Circuit.
Oh, wait, tonight. There's a match tonight.
There is a match tonight. Who is the match tonight?
It is Team Marn.
Yeah.
Of Marn fame. I don't know if you guys knew Marn is. He is a fighting game guy. And he has clayg.na on his team, who's another fighting game guy.
They're always a really exciting team to watch.
Yeah, they're always fun because they do kind of interesting strats, and they're crazy. And they actually picked up 2 players off this really, really awesome team called Nick Allen is Handsome. So
Who
they got
did they
2.
Pick up?
Nick Wu.
Okay.
And I don't know the other one.
Isn't Nick Wu a fighting guy too?
I'm not sure, actually.
Okay.
Let's just say that he is.
It sounds like
Let's just
a
say
fighting
they're
name.
all fighting game people.
I know Nick Wu. He had subbed for Marn a little bit in the past.
Yeah, so he's on the team now, and they're playing The Last Stand of Jarvan, which is a really cool team name.
That's a cool name.
Yeah.
I still am excited to see Duncan Bronuts.
Duncan Bronuts is who I will be rooting for this Challenger circuit.
The Last Stand of Jarvan, I like it.
Yeah,
so
Last Stand of Jarvan. So they've actually been in our tournaments before. They played one other time, in the in something. But yeah, they've been around. So and they were, they're good. They played Jarvan like every game.
Oh, okay.
So don't ban Jarvan, Team Marn. That would be
rude.
Offensive. But
all right.
yeah.
Well, that's it, guys. Definitely tune in for that later, 5 p.m. Pacific time. We'll have the link up with the little countdown timer. But that's all she wrote. Thanks, guys.
See ya.